All right, so cold open question. Pretty simple one this week, but, going along with the theme of what we're going to be talking about. What was your favorite dinosaur growing up? Super simple question, right? Right?
Is it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, yeah, I thought it'd be fun just to kind of reminisce on that. And
Yeah, it's a good one.
So, but before we get this started, I do got a couple jokes for you. So,
All right.
What do you call a blind dinosaur?
Do you think he's Saurus?
Dino-Sized. That's right. That's right. What do you call a blind dinosaur's dog?
Do you think he's Saurus Rex?
Do you think he's Saurus Rex? Perfect. You're going along great with this. What do you call a dinosaur's favorite podcast?
This podcast takes tokens?
This podcast takes tokens.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's
We'll see you in
absolutely
just
perfect.
a minute.
Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters, because this podcast takes tokens.
All right, we are back. Of course, we are talking about the 1993 techno thriller, I guess is what you could call this.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. Oh my gosh, Deric. Oh my gosh, I loved this movie so much. It was so good on a rewatch. Released June 11th, 1993. Budget of, wow, that's wild. I just had a mosquito fly in my mouth.
Well, they're attracted to carbon monoxide.
That's right. Yeah. We're going to leave that in the show. That's funny. Budget of $63 million. You know what this thing grossed?
A good amount. Over $1 billion worldwide, right?
$1.058 billion. Wow. So it held the record of highest grossing film for, I think, 3 years until Titanic came out. But it's still, I know, Titanic just always
always getting us.
Throws a wrench in there. But it still held the box office for, I think it was the highest grossing summer blockbuster until, I think Avengers Endgame might have beaten it.
Really?
I know
Avatar.
Well, did Avatar come out in the summer? That's what I was wondering. Avatar is the highest grossing film of all time.
I think
Still
it was
is.
a summer film.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was a summer film.
Okay, then it was until Avatar came out. But so that's a good long while. Of course, directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
We've been on a Spielberg roll here the last few weeks.
Can't help it.
No.
Spielberg and John Hughes, man. That's what we grew up on.
That's right.
I was wrong. Avatar was December.
Okay. So this did hold the record, I think, until Avengers Endgame. I don't remember what that grossed, but that's fine. Avengers Endgame was great. Starring Sam Neill, Laura Dern, of course, Jeff Goldblum. Great. Great actor. Won Oscars for Best Sound Effects, and Best Visual Effects. Had 5 sequels. Believe it or not, I have not watched any of the newer ones with Chris Pratt.
Is it only 5? It feels like more.
I know. It does. There was this one. There was The Lost World. What was the third one called? I can't remember.
I think it was just Jurassic Park 3, right?
Was it? Okay.
I think it was just 3. Yeah, you're right. So there's Jurassic Park, Lost World, Jurassic Park. They took the title of the series and they made that the subtitle, which is interesting. It's an interesting take. Jurassic Park 3. Then we have Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. And then we have another one coming out.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
Yeah. So, I watched it, loved it. Did you? I'm assuming you watched it. Yeah.
I watched it. I finished it up just yesterday. We had some people working on the yard yesterday. We're working on the house, and I didn't want to get into anything that I couldn't be pulled away from. So I was like, I'll put on the movie, because I was planning on watching it tomorrow night, or last night. And I was like, I'll just put on the movie and I'll watch that and take my notes while I'm sitting there watching it.
Yeah.
If I need to pause it, I can pause it pretty easily. And luckily they didn't disturb me too much, so I got to watch my movie.
That's good. So what did you watch it on? I'm curious. Like, did you watch the VHS
downstairs.
or TV downstairs?
Oh no, I just digital streaming. I own it on, like, I think Vudu or Fandango or whatever it's called now. Yeah.
I had to watch this on. So I had the DVD.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what happened to it. I can't find it. Cannot find it anywhere. I think I lent it to somebody. Ian, my friend Ian, I think it was him. I have not gotten the movie back. So,
do you have the DVD? I have the DVD. I have it in my. I still have it in my collection of DVDs, because I kept a good amount of my DVDs just because their boxes were so awesome. And this one, it's the box opens like the doors for the thing. That's the one I have. That's an awesome one.
I've wanted that one. I think we've had this conversation before, because our wives both have agreed on it together, that they have both tried to get rid of our cases for our movies, and they've discussed it. That it helps save on space, and we're both like, no. You keep the cases.
That's right.
I had to watch this, believe it or not, on Tubi. Could not on Tubi. It's like some streaming service, with. It was fine. I mean, we're not sponsored by Tubi. We'd love to be sponsored by Tubi if they want to.
I've watched a couple things over there before. Yeah, there's definitely some, like, oddities that, like, you can't find anywhere else, and they're on Tubi for whatever. I think it was.
I don't understand that.
Spin City I was wanting to watch, and I had to pull it up on, like, Tubi or something like that, because it's not anywhere else.
It's so weird. Like, it was on Peacock like a month ago, and then it's gone. And I guarantee you, it'll be back on Peacock again. Yeah. But it's just so weird how that stuff rolls out. But yeah, I had to watch it on Tubi, which was fine. It was fine. Yeah. But gosh, this movie, and it's so good. That opening scene, though, what? So we watch these. We rewatch these with kind of a critical eye a little bit. Yeah. And I'll admit, this movie for me is hard to watch with a critical eye. A lot of them are, I guess, because they hold such a special place in my heart. But so the opening scene, they are loading the Velociraptors into, like, their main cage, is what I'm assuming. They've got all this technology, right?
They can't lock it together?
Yeah, John Hammond has said, we spared no expense. Except
apparently they did.
For you have a manual door for this thing. You don't have an electronic door to open no electronic door.
No coupling system, so it can't be pulled apart.
Yes.
Nope. No. And why did they open the cage door first and not the enclosure door first?
Right? Don't understand. But we wouldn't have a movie, I guess, because the family of the guy that got killed led to the lawsuit, which made them have to have everybody come and.
Oh, was that? I never made that connection before.
Yep, I didn't until watching it again. Yeah, because the lawyer is talking to Hammond.
Yeah, and he says, the lawyer starts talking, and I kind of ignore him.
Right.
I was glad to see he was. I have that in my notes for later. It was satisfying that he was the first one the Tyrannosaurus killed. Yes.
Because he's all about, like, at first he's all about, like, well, we're going to shut this thing down, or whatever. Yeah. And then when he finds out, we can, this will be profitable. Like,
we'll have a coupon day.
A coupon day.
Yeah, he was talking about $2,000 a night in 1993.
Right.
Wow.
Insane.
$2,000 a night.
Insane. Oh gosh. Yeah. What about Grant though? Like, so who was your? I guess I'll ask you. Who was your favorite character in this movie?
Wow, that should have been the cold open question right there.
Should have been. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of great ones in this movie.
There are. I don't know. I can't off the top of my head. Yeah, sure. Grant probably. No, I think it was probably the Raptor Wrangler guy.
Oh, that guy was great.
He was great.
I can't remember his name. Yeah.
I was watching it again, and I was really disappointed that he got killed off.
You know what's coming. You know what's coming. You're just like, oh.
And you know what's funny is he spent time with the raptors, studying them in real life, learning how they move and hunt and behave. And in the very opening scene, Grant is the one that explains how they hunt. Like, you'll lock on with one of them and two more will come in from the sides. And that's exactly how they get them. And I'm like, how did he not know about this pack hunting mentality? He should have known that.
As soon as he saw that one that was clearly in front of him, you should have been like, okay. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Like, I'd be scared half to death.
I would not be in that cage, that's for sure.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But yeah, I was disappointed to see him go, but
I would be questioning why they decided to put the what is it, the fuse box, for a lack of a term, in the middle of the raptor cage. Why is it in the middle of the raptor cage?
Yeah, I don't think it was in the raptor cage, because the raptors had gotten out. You remember they're walking, him and Laura Dern, they're walking over to go and flip those fuses on, but they walk by the raptor encagement, and he looks up and he sees that they've gotten out.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But it's near it, and why are the fuses, why is the breaker box all the way on the other side of... Okay, it's on the other side of the compound. Why do you have to go outside to get to it? Why can't you just, like, that's
There's
what I don't
connection.
understand.
Yes. Spared no expense, but, took no thought either.
Yeah, spared no expense on that, spared no expense on the door, spared no expense on Nedry, who, if he just would have paid him what he was worth, none of this would have happened in the first place.
Well, is it that he was not paying him what he was worth, or was it that I think that they alluded to Nedry having some financial problems? I think he was a bit of a gambler.
Well, I think he was. Yeah.
He was definitely losing money somewhere.
But he does tell Hammond that he said, if you can find anybody else that can do this, be my guest. Like, yeah. So, I don't know. I think there's a little back and forth there with that. But the beginning, that scene with Grant scaring that kid, it's great.
Kid who had it coming.
Yes.
And a feeling that I had the first time I saw the movie and every subsequent we watched. I don't like that kid for some reason. He just bugs me.
Yeah.
I think it's just the arrogant, snotty kid just always bugged me.
Whose kid is he? Like,
yeah.
How this kid end up in this dig site? Like,
which, I mean, on one hand, like, good on you as a parent for bringing your child on this educational expedition to, study fossils and dinosaurs and all that stuff. Great. But, maybe keep an eye on him,
Right.
Teach him to respect his elders a little or something.
Yes.
He was a little mouthy.
Yeah, absolutely was. Yeah.
I can't think I've seen that kid in anything else, but he looks familiar. But I can't think of anything else I've seen him in, and I don't know if he just looks familiar from the movie or what, or if he's just.
I think he was in stuff around that time, but I don't think he was ever he was never like a front and center marquee character.
No.
He was always in
a character of some
stuff.
sort.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so my favorite character, I guess I asked you, I didn't answer it. Malcolm. I love Jeff Goldblum's character. Oh, he's great. Everything. I mean, he's quirky and he's weird. He's a little bit sleazy, He's
kind of very.
He's hitting on, but I did appreciate. I respected from him when he found out that her and Grant were seeing each other. He immediately was like, "Oh, okay." But how did he not see that?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was watching this movie and in the beginning, and I'm thinking, are they a couple? I don't remember if it ever comes out that they're a couple one way or another. In fact, I don't think I can recall them ever like having that moment where like they embrace in any real sort of way that he wouldn't embrace with another colleague in the similar situation. Like they never even, I don't even think they kiss at any point or anything like that. Not that I'm looking for some action from the movie, but
right,
like I would imagine if I was in the same situation, separated from my wife and in this horror situation, the moment we got back together, I'm at least meeting her with a good lip lock and holding her tight for a minute. Yeah, for sure. But he's. I feel like this part could have gone to Harrison Ford pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking Indy in the last one. It's kind of a similar character to Indiana Jones. Very
it really is.
Pragmatic and smart and can hold his own, but emotionally not that deep for sure. But I was thinking that like, are they a couple? Are they not a couple? Because it really clued me in whenever Hammond comes to meet him at the dig site. And she turns to him at one point and refers to him as honey. Like real quick. It was kind of like under the breath almost. Yes. It was pretty quick.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, are they a couple? Because on all these rewatches, I never, you always kind of think they are. And then the second movie, they're not together. She's with somebody else. Or is it the third movie?
It's been so long since I've watched it. I can't remember.
I think it's the third one where he comes back. Yeah, it's the third one. Because
I know.
Malcolm comes back
Sam
in the
Neill
second
comes
one.
back.
Yeah. So he comes back in the third one, and they're clearly not together because she's with somebody else, and she has like kids or something like that. And I bet that's the reason why they don't get together is because the whole kid situation. Like he clearly doesn't want kids. She wants kids. Like she's constantly trying to push the kids off on him. She's doing that thing that you see women who are kind of sizing up a man they're interested in, who want kids but don't know if he wants kids. So they kind of like start exposing him to kids to see how he reacts and interacts. It's anthropological for sure. Like, isn't she an anthropologist of some sort? So she's kind of like studying him in that same way about like, does he like kids? How is he going to do with kids? What if we have kids? We have a few of our own. Dinosaurs? No, kids, little ones.
Yeah. But like the movie though, it has Grant start out like that, and then he ends up warming up to the kids. To he really is a father figure by the end of the movie, even though they they've been together for 24 hours or something. But like,
but they're bonded.
They're bonded, and so it is weird to me that in the subsequent films that he had decided he didn't want kids, because it seemed like they make that whole arc of like he doesn't want them to, it appears, especially at the end when they're flying off in the helicopter, they're sleeping on him, and he's grown a bond with these kids, and like, oh, okay, he likes kids now, but I don't know.
Do you think like Grant still sends them Christmas presents and birthday presents for years after this? Like, does he stay in contact, or does it grow apart pretty quick?
Right? I don't know. Like,
Uncle Grant.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the shared trauma that you've been through, but I don't know. That's
I think question. It is actually the third one where Grant comes. Is it the third one? Man, I haven't seen the other two in so long. Yeah. Where I think Grant comes back and he meets with John Hammond at his place, and I think one of the girl, not Ellie, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. The girl is there, Lexi. And Lexi, and she runs over and gives him a hug and like says hi. And it was either Grant meeting with her or it was Malcolm with John Hammond at his place when he was sick, or it was Malcolm that meets with him in the second one. I can't remember if it was the second one or third one, but one of them meets with him, and Lexi's there. I want to say, and they have kind of a moment. It's got to be the third one with Grant.
Yeah,
I want to go with that. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to revisit those as well.
Yeah, we will. It's been this one I've watched clearly. Like I've watched this one the most. Yeah, and it's the best of all of them, I think. But even like the special effects now still look. I thought they still looked
fantastic.
Good. Yeah,
it's all It's mostly practical effects. Yeah, they built that big dinosaur.
Oh yeah. I mean, but even when like there's scenes with the raptors and stuff that are clearly CGI, but it still looks for 1993.
Looks pretty good.
I mean, it looks better than Mummy, than the water did in the Mummy. You know?
6 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about those practical effects, I remember watching like a behind the scenes thing, and they were talking about they built that giant T-Rex. Like, it's a big mechanical T-Rex, and then it's got like this foam covering to it for the skin. Well, they were pouring rain on it. That foam is absorbing that water, and it ends up weighing hundreds or thousands of pounds or something like that from all this water. And so they're trying to get the dinosaur to move and everything, and it won't. It's just like stuttering and it's stopping because the weight is so much on it. So they had to like redo the skin on it or something like that so that it wouldn't absorb the water. But yeah, I found that very interesting. Yeah, it was practical effects, which was just really cool.
Yeah.
So this movie you mentioned was a $63 million budget.
I think that's right.
With the tagline being 65 million years in the making. I'm a little disappointed they didn't spend $2 more million on it.
Right.
And then it would truly be 65 million in the making.
Yeah.
Then they could have got like, I don't know what you could have done with $2 more million on this movie. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Great.
I don't know. I can't think of anything to add to it.
No, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Maybe get Ellie some more Jell-O. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was a great scene, right?
Yes.
Like when her and Timmy are eating.
Yes.
And like everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nope, it's not. And that whole when they're in the kitchen. And the raptors are just, they jump up on the countertop and they're, I don't know, everything
hunting.
about that. Yes. And then that's when Lex really, like, I feel like that's the moment she turns from, like, she's scared the whole movie until that point because she's trying to protect Timmy because it's just her and Timmy.
Yep.
And she, is starting to make noise and then she makes it look like she's, trying to shut that thing, and she forces the raptor to hit its head against the wall. And then I was
wondering about that. Did she do that on purpose? Was she faking it?
Yes.
Knowing that she could see the reflection, or was she really panicking? And then it happened that the raptor slammed into the wall, and she took that moment to escape.
I took it as she was intentionally, purposefully doing that to escape.
She sold it. She looked terrified.
Yes, she did. Yeah. And then they lock that one raptor inside the
freezer.
The freezer, which is something cool that I'd noted that I had just seen today actually because I was looking at a couple things for this. So when I first watched that, I thought, well, boy, that would suck for somebody to come by there later and be like, oh, kind of hungry, and there's a raptor in there. Yeah. But so there is a game coming out called Jurassic Park Survival.
Oh.
And I just saw the advertisement for it, and it's you're playing as like one of the staff, like a scientist that was working there, and it takes place right after the first movie, and it shows her inside the kitchen, and that freezer door is open. And I'm like, if I hadn't just watched the movie, I wouldn't know what that was. I wouldn't even think anything of it. But now I'm just like, oh my gosh! Like, so the raptor got out somehow. But,
they can work handles. They can work doors.
Yes. Which is it's incredible about that movie. Like that when I love that scene when they're what did they say? Like, I guess it was Ellie that said, like, I guess unless they can learn to, like you're saying, open doors, and then the next scene,
so many little like breadcrumbs to different scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, where she's like, unless they can learn to figure out how to open doors, and then the next scene, they figured out how to open doors. Or like, there's that little tease where they're getting on the ride and they're talking about, and the thing starts talking about DNA, and the three of them are going, how can he get DNA? He can't possibly get a fully intact DNA strand and all this other stuff. And then in that moment, that cane passes over in front of the camera with the little piece of amber in it, and the little thing, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice little like Easter egg to what's to come. And they kept doing that throughout the movie, and it was like, yes, I think this movie is Spielberg at his finest.
Oh yeah.
This may be his best movie.
Yep. It is like even from like how everything's layered. Like,
Yes.
so when they are in the control room towards the end, and Ellie and Grant are holding that door, and they're like, the door locks, and Lex is over there, trying to lock the door. Which, side note, why didn't Timmy's not doing anything? Why didn't he run over and pick up that shotgun?
He's standing there going, oh.
Yeah, yes. But so they finally get it locked, and they're on the walkie with Hammond and Malcolm, and they're talking, and they're like, we've got it closed or whatever. And then all of a sudden, you start hearing. You see the conversation back and forth, but then you see Hammond, and you hear Ellie screaming, "They're coming through the glass!" And you hear the shotgun. And I think that is just that whole scene is so well done. How it layers the audio from that coming through the walkie, like you've got all the crackling and everything, and then you go back and you see where there's bullet holes where Grant has shot at it. And oh my gosh, man, this movie's so good. It's so good.
I have a little nitpick on that scene.
Okay.
And it's they scream into the walkie, "Oh God, they're coming through the glass," and you hear the glass shatter and the shotgun go off. And then it cuts to them in that computer lab, and there are holes in the glass.
Yeah.
But it's after it cuts back there, the and they're figuring out where they're gonna go, and then they start going up into the rafters and everything, and as they're going up in the rafters, the dinosaur breaks through the glass and comes into that room after them. I feel like there's a slight disconnect there, like there's like a beat that's missing there, like it just, and I don't know what the answer is to line that up just right. Maybe they should have been like on the walkie talking to him as they were trying to get up in there, and then you have that beat. But it was definitely like, they were trying, I think they were trying to layer one too many things in there, and then that little bit right there just kind of always bugged me. I was like, you're talking about them coming through the glass, and then you cut to, and then they come through the glass, but then maybe it's just, I don't know. That one kind of bugged me. Not to rain on your parade.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, no, I don't know. I just think that whole thing is just so.
But it's entertaining as hell.
It's so entertaining, and that shot, like, not to just keep harping on that scene, but that shot when they're in the ceiling, and then I think is it the tile? No, the raptor comes up. Grant kicks it, the tile falls, and then Lex falls down, and then you see her like swing, and she's just barely gripping on with one hand. And they pull her back up right as the raptor jumps and just misses her. Oh my gosh!
You're gonna be impressed even one step further. That moment where she falls, that's a stunt double, right?
Okay.
But the stunt double looked up, wasn't supposed to, but looked up real quick, and they got her face. They had to they had to stitch Lex's face onto the stunt double's face. That is the first time they've ever done a face swap in a movie.
Wow.
So that is the first instance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool, I thought.
So good, man.
And I like that for me, that scene, it's the shot where the raptor they're up in the ceiling, and the raptor's standing there, and he's looking around trying to figure out where they're at. And the monitor has the genetic code sequencing going over its face. That was pretty cool. Yes. That was pretty cool.
When the first several times I watched this movie, like as a kid, I thought it was just like the light coming from the tiles in the ceiling,
from overhead,
or something. Yeah. So speaking of that, when was the first time you watched this movie? Do you remember?
When it first came out. I think I went to the theaters and saw this movie.
Yes. Yeah, we would have had to go together. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
this was right at that time. You would have been like, what, 5 whenever this came out?
5. But I remember, this is the first movie I remember seeing in the theater.
Oh, really?
I remember seeing it. I don't necessarily remember. I mean, I had to have been with you. I don't remember who I was with. But I remember watching it at the... So for our listeners that...
I think Aunt Kathy took us.
Did she? Okay.
I think so. She always took us to movies.
The old Ben Bolt.
Yeah, it was either Ben Bolt or Brookfield, one of the two.
Okay, maybe
both those theaters.
Yeah, so we had a Ben Bolt. We had a Ben Bolt theater here in town. It was called the Ben Bolt.
Beautiful theater.
It was like that old classic. Had one screen. The ticket
Art
booth
Deco.
Was outside. Yeah, Art Deco. ticket booth was on the sidewalk. Like, you walked in and you had the concessions were right in front of you, glass, and it was beautiful. So you'll hear us talking about it, and we've talked about it some in some episodes, but it was beautiful.
It breaks
it's just
my
an empty
heart
lot now.
Still to this day that they tore that down.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
They did. I was reading on that. There's like a website that talks about like historical buildings and stuff like that, and I found it on there. And they were talking about like apparently there was like a small movement within the town to save it, and there were people trying to get funding together to save it, and they just couldn't get it together in time. And it just ended up getting plowed over. Which whoever did that, I hope they got ran out of town.
Oh my gosh! Well, the shame of it is, like I said, they don't even. It's. I said paved paradise, but parking lot. There's not even a parking lot there. It is literally an empty lot next to the funeral home. Like there's nothing there. They don't do anything with it, and it's such a shame.
There was no need to tear it down.
Nope. No.
Somebody was being vindictive.
Oh, it had a balcony.
Somebody had a
there
grudge.
And everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it was so good. But yeah, that's where I remember watching this movie at.
Yeah.
I
think every movie from my childhood I remember watching.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And then this movie had so many, like, McDonald's had a tie-in with it. I was watching, actually, this evening before we started recording, I was watching commercials that were tied into this movie. So McDonald's had a tie-in with like some they had collector's cups, and do you remember the toy line?
Yeah, they had a little. Yeah. It got bigger with the subsequent sequels.
Yes,
but
it did.
like this one had a nice little toy line. As a matter of fact, I remember rewatching this movie today, or the other day, and they're in Jurassic Park in the movie. It's a little Inception-y. They're in Jurassic Park, and they're in like the gift shop area. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, like you could buy all that stuff, like all that merchandise that you saw in the film. As soon as you came out, you go to your local Walmart or whatever, and it was all there, or most of it was there, which was just like merchandising at its finest.
Oh yeah,
or worse, depending on how you view it.
I remember there was a kid that I went to school with, and I went over to his house for one afternoon, and he had the entire line. Like, he had all of the original line. And they had the dinosaurs that had, like, the dino damage, where like, the chunks were taken out of them. And I remember I had a Nedry character, but he didn't look like Nedry. But he was... And I didn't know it at the time when I got it, but like his arms would come off, like his arms had been eaten off or whatever. And I was playing with my action figures one morning, and my mom was in the other room asleep. And I remember accidentally pulling too hard on his arm, and it broke off. And I was like, oh, I broke my toy. And like I went in and I was like trying to wake my mom up, and then I realized it snapped back on, and like that's how I found out that his limbs would come off. But yeah, man, they had. But the thing was with those toys, like they had them, like they had stuff that wasn't in the movie. Like they had like Malcolm had like a rocket launcher, and I think even the lawyer had something like a weapon or something. But
I mean, they designed those toys like years before the movie came out, so they're given very little to go on.
Yes,
and I bet because Nedry didn't look the same, I bet he was recast. I bet it was somebody else and then was recast.
Because he had he was thinner, and then he had this like red sweater on, and like he wasn't wearing anything like what was in the movies. I mean, I remember the Grant toy looked similar, and the Ellie one did. Like the costumes looked. Well, Malcolm, he was just an all black costume. But, but yeah, you were talking about the. It made me think about when you were talking about merchandising and stuff, like that scene. Such a solemn scene at the end of the movie as they're getting ready to take off in the helicopter to get out of there, and you hear like the theme music of this. When I hear
one of the most
today,
iconic scores.
Oh, and when I hear it today, I still I get nostalgic, and it's that
yes,
and that score is playing, and it's the camera pans through their gift shop that they had there. And it's just like you see the the kids like pajamas with Jurassic Park and stuff, and it's just like it gets you kind of in the feels. You're like, oh, what could have been, and it didn't because they weren't responsible. Yeah.
That's a great one for sure.
Yeah.
So that last scene there where they're going to take off and the T-Rex comes in and saves the day.
Oh yeah.
They made the T-Rex the hero of this movie.
They did.
Kind of the franchise, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the modern Godzilla or King Kong, if you will.
Yep.
And it's pretty neat. I always I always knew, I guess, or I never gave much thought until this rewatch about how they positioned the T-Rex as this hero. I mean, he comes off a little villainous, but really when you think about like who he takes out is kind of bad guys in the film and people that were better off for not having.
Yeah.
And he ends up kind of saving the day at the end, and they repeat that in the later movies. Like, you haven't seen the new ones, but in the two new ones, he comes back as a bit of a hero. I mean, obviously not the exact same T-Rex.
Yeah.
I think they breed new ones. But they definitely position the T-Rex as a hero throughout this series. And it's never something that I've given a lot of thought, but it's very interesting, I think.
Yeah. Well, and again, that scene at the end, it's just so iconic when they're escaping and that one T-Rex or that one raptor jumps on him and he tears it off and he's eating it. And then that second one, which I assume was like not the alpha, but like the whatever, because our raptor handler had said like she was the one that came in. They had like 12 raptors and she killed all of them but 2 or something. And he takes her and just flings her into the skeleton that they have of the T-Rex, the fossilized skeleton. And then he roars and that banner's falling down. And it's just, it's
great
just
shot.
So great. So great. Everything about this movie, man. It's just, it's so much fun. Yeah. So
good. It's got good levels to it. I was wondering, watching this movie, because it's, it's Steven Spielberg, and we're kind of in the era of, when we have been for probably 20 years now, in the era of universe building and all that. Do you think Jurassic Park exists in the same universe as Jaws or Indiana Jones?
Oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That's a good thing to think about.
I'd like to see Indy.
Indiana Jones versus some dinosaurs? Man, that'd be some fun stuff right there.
Did you ever... Go ahead.
No, go on. I'll let you go. It's your show.
Okay. Did you ever read this book?
No. I always wanted to. I had aspirations to reading it, not that I ever really would have, but in my mind, I really wanted to, and I was on board until it actually came to actually reading a book, and I'm usually out. Until recently. Maybe I'll go back and read it now, because I'm more into reading books now, but as a kid, I wanted to, but I could have never sat down and read that. I just didn't have the attention span to sit down and read a book, especially a book this thick. I guess it wasn't really that thick, but as a child, it looked thick. As
a kid, anything over like 10 pages looks daunting. I read it it was probably 15 years ago. I was on a huge reading kick. We had a thrift store here in town, and I'd go there and I'd find books for like 50 cents. And they had a bunch of Michael Crichton books, and I bought this one, I think, a Timeline and Andromeda Strain or whatever. This one it's really good. It is quite different from the movie, which Michael Crichton wrote the movie, but Michael Crichton, he's known to have been, of course he's deceased now, but he allowed a lot of liberties with his products, or with his stories and things, and because they've made a lot of movies based on his work.
ER, I think, was made based off of his work.
Oh, was it really? See, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, but so it is different. Hammond is a jerk in the book. he's obviously more of a kindly old, he doesn't like lawyers, but who does,
Right. Well, okay. To touch back on Michael Crichton, just pulling up his IMDb, 4 things. The top 4 things that he's known for making: Jurassic Park, ER, Twister, and Westworld.
Oh, he did Westworld, really?
Did Westworld, like the original Westworld. Yeah, he was the writer on that.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's attributed with the characters and everything for the new ones, but that's interesting. Yeah, he's got credits for the new series as well. Post-mortem. Interesting.
Wow.
So yeah, Michael Crichton.
Yeah.
Fantastic writer. I'm gonna have to go back and check it out.
His stuff's good. His stuff is his books are very easy to pick up and read, and they read really smoothly. They're not. I mean, you're not going to get like some. If you're looking for like some Pulitzer Prize winning book, you're not going to get that. But if you want just to be entertained and have a good page turner, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's what I want. The last book that I really got into was Ready Player 2. And I read that, and I went back and I went back and read Ready Player 1 because I enjoyed that one so much. And that was good. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that, and I think that's what I'm looking for.
I'm the opposite. I listened to the audiobook of Ready Player One, and it was Will Wheaton that did the narration, which,
that'd be good.
If you want to listen to an audiobook, that's a great one, because he does a good job on it. But I haven't read Ready Player 2 yet. I need to check that one out.
Well, I mean, they got the movie coming out, too, so it might be a good read before they do the movie, for sure. Yeah, because I know the first one differed from the movie a lot, which, again, Ready Player One, that's a Spielberg movie.
Spielberg movie, yep.
Yeah, fantastic film.
Yeah.
I got to put that on. It's outside of our reach, but I think that gets a special place because it touches on so much. Yeah. It's so nostalgic.
Yes.
But I think that's going on the list for later.
Anyway, so harking back, one thing that I found in my research for this, so this movie came out before Independence Day. And there's the scene where they are Ian and Ellie, and then our
Malcolm,
our guy that Malcolm, Ellie, and then our guy that we really liked that kept the Raptors. I can't remember. They're driving, speeding away from the T-Rex. The T-Rex is chasing them, which
Muldoon.
Fantastic scene. Like Ellie looks completely terrified.
Absolutely.
But Jeff Goldblum is saying, "Must go faster, must go faster." They reuse that line in Independence Day when they're flying out. And if you look, I guess from what I read online, you don't actually see him saying that on screen in Independence Day. It's speculation that they had actually taken that clip from Jurassic Park and put it into Independence Day. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. That was great. I wondered, watching this movie, you heard stories about E.T. He told the kids, oh, this is a real alien that we got on the set and everything. Shh, don't tell anybody, to get the kids to interact with it a little better and more believably and stuff like that. I wonder if he told the cast, oh, these are real dinosaurs, Shh, just don't tell anybody. And that's why everybody was so terrified of him. He's like, we're just going to do this family friendly, these people discover, they're doing a park and everything goes great. And then just letting chaos reign and let the actors, the cameras roll and actors react in real time.
I hope. Because it was all pretty believable.
Yeah. I have 2 nitpicks I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
And one of them is something that always bugs me in movies whenever they do it. And I don't know if you caught it or not, but whenever Nedry is getting out of the Jeep and he's stuck. He's slid off the side of the road and he's getting the winch out and he's trying to get it down to the tree so he can get the Jeep to go down the hill or whatever. And as he's trying to climb down that hill, he slips and falls. And did you hear the slide whistle on the slip? Yes. Oh my God, that bugs me so much.
Yeah.
And they did it. And I don't know why that he did that.
It didn't need to be in there.
It did not need to be in there. It does not feel like Spielberg. That feels like somebody some producer or editor came in and slipped that one by him. I don't believe that was Spielberg.
It doesn't fit with the movie at all. The movie is not a comedy at all. It is a very serious take on like playing God and should we do it, and and
then we get this little as he falls, and then they do that in. I'll catch it in movies every once in a while or TV shows, and it's like, that doesn't fit. But why are you doing that? Who are we placating to? Who finds this funny?
Yeah,
then we got to do that. But I don't know. It bugged me, and I just want to bring it up and put it on the record that
I'll say that.
I hate it. I hate it when they do that. And then I got to ask, whenever Grant gets out to rescue the kids from the T-Rex, and he busts out the flare, he's going side to side, getting the attention of the T-Rex, and then throws it off into the woods. And then stands there for a minute and is going to let the T-Rex go off. Then Malcolm gets out with the flare and he's like, I got this over here. And then like lets the T-Rex chase him down and everything. Is Malcolm a hero or an idiot for bringing out that second flare?
Here's my thing. I was going to touch on this. He is an absolute hero because you hear him, he starts swinging it and he's like, get the kids. He's doing it to save the kids. Get the kids, and he takes off. Like that line made me be like, okay, he's a hero because he's literally he's risking his life so Grant can save the kids. So I'm like,
but he didn't need to. I feel like Grant had it under control. He did. Dinosaur was going to wander off. We were going to be good.
And Grant even tells him, Ian, freeze.
Yeah.
And which, this guy is a dinosaur expert. I mean, Ian is super smart, no question.
Chaos theory.
But I'm listening to the guy that knows, there's a T-Rex standing here. I'm going to listen to the guy that knows a thing or two about T-Rex.
He says stay in the car. I'm going to stay in the car.
Yes. But
no, he had to go on his own.
I think he was foolish for doing it, but I think his heart was in the right place. He's trying to save the kids. Yeah.
Heart's in the right place, but maybe not the smartest move.
Yeah. But if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't get the iconic kind of sexy open shirt pose Jeff Goldblum later.
You got Burt Reynolds who does it on the bearskin rug fantastically in the 70s, and then we got Jeff Goldblum in the 90s doing it for the dinosaurs, if you will.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah,
it was great.
I still see people using that for memes on the internet. Yes. Like this is what a man needs to be, or whatever.
Absolutely. Yes. And then that's my final nitpick is the T-Rex busts through that fence between the two cars, but then shoves one of those cars over the ledge, which falls down into a ravine. How did it
climb up there?
How did that work out? Yeah. That's something that's always bothered me is that he's on level ground. Is he just on the edge of a cliff? Is that how that's working? Like, you just got two levels there, and it just doesn't play right for me.
That's something that I honestly had forgotten about. I had thought about it before, like a couple years ago, and I haven't watched this for a while. For a couple years ago when I watched it, I thought about that because I'm like, earlier in the day, unless they were looking at at the other side of that area, there was the goat that was sitting in the ground, and then all of a sudden now there's not. Yeah. So I don't know. Off. Yes. I don't. Maybe they're at a different spot, but still, he had to like climb up. Yeah, because you see, it's almost like the top. Sorry, I'm like grabbing way up here off camera, but it's like the top rungs that you see his hand or his paw come up on. When you first see him getting over the fence.
Which dinosaurs have tiny arms. They don't have big. The T-Rex doesn't have big arms. And he's definitely eating that lamb because part of the lamb, which is I guess another thing that kind of bothers me. He got the leg of the lamb that falls on the roof of the car, and then he swallows the lamb whole.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, did he bite off part of the lamb and then spit it out? Or I guess maybe it fell out. I don't know.
I don't know if maybe there was an editing error where like he ate it and then maybe when he was, he spit.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It's just like it got edited slightly out. Who's the editor for this? He needs to be fired.
I don't know. Because of that one scene,
There's a few things that are bugging me here. But that one always bothered me.
But
Okay.
we had a great line from that scene though, because when
Yes.
the lawyer gets out and runs to the bathroom, and Grant's like, "Where's he going?" And Malcolm's like, "Well, you gotta go. You gotta go."
That's right. Or, whenever Lexi's like, is he going to eat the goat? And he's like, yeah, you ever had lamb chops, kid? Or something like that. Which they give the T-Rex, this giant beast, this little lamb. And then whenever they go and they feed the raptor, they give it the whole cow.
Oh, whole cow. Well, I guess there's 3 raptors in there though, but still.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel like the T-Rex deserved a cow.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Maybe that's why he's so mad. That's why he went after them. He's like, you got my dinner.
Yeah. I'm gonna eat
That was
you
my
now
plate.
because he.
They served you the wrong one.
Did you ever play They had like a Super
Sega
Nintendo
Genesis game?
and Sega Genesis game for it. Yeah, did you ever play that? Yeah.
I have that. It's a great
Oh,
game.
do you? Yeah.
I enjoyed that one for sure. You can play as either the Raptor or Dr. Grant. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's a great game for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gosh, there's so much merchandising with this game. It was just
So much.
Yeah. It was such a popular movie when it came out. I mean, obviously,
Huge.
billion dollars. Yeah.
Huge movie.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that, like, I feel like this movie had a life in the box office for probably a year, a solid year. Like, I think the next summer they were still showing it in some theaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was just that good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and geez, even on a rewatch, it's just, it was just as good yesterday when I watched it as it was, whenever.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know. So Lexi mentions that she's a hacker at some point. What is she hacking? She's like 12.
And that's what I took. So I took that, like, when she first says that, like, I could totally see a kid saying that. Like, I'm a hacker. Like, that's completely plausible. Fine. I didn't think that was silly at all.
You don't know what it means, but
yeah. But when she's actually in there on that, probably like an Apple II or whatever that they're using.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. And I don't know. I you know what? Her doing that in the movie, and like there's an actual, visual operating system, and you have her using the mouse, is a lot more believable than like the movie Hackers, where they're just sitting there typing. Like, okay, Lexi's going in here and she's turning things on. That makes sense.
She's doing something.
Yeah. So
For
I'll
sure,
give it
hackers.
that. Yeah. Yes. She's a better hacker than Angelina Jolie.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think the kids had some of the best line reads in the movie too.
Oh yeah.
Like whenever she turns and says something about like, I happen to be a vegetarian. Like, it's delivered perfectly. Or whenever Grant is helping Timmy get down from the tree, and then the car falls on top of him, and he goes, well, we're back in the car again.
Back in the car, yeah.
Or they're like, oh, we're just going to climb up a tree. And he's like, well, you weren't in the last tree.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
The kids definitely had some of the best line reads.
They did,
for kid actors, like great kid actors, I think.
I didn't feel like it was, sometimes you'll get child actors in movies, and well, even adult actors for that matter, and the reads are pretty stiff. But I felt like they were completely believable. I thought everybody in this movie did a good job. I mean, yeah, freaking Samuel L. Jackson in this movie. I'd forgotten about him being in there,
Yes.
And
great Sam Jackson.
Yes. Got that cigarette hanging out of his mouth the whole time.
The whole movie.
And he's just mumbling to himself. Do this. That cigarette's just moving up and down.
Can't stand this hacker stuff.
Yeah. Please!
Yes. That was great Sam Jackson for sure.
Look at this workstation.
Yes. Oh, Nedry was such a slob. And how did nobody... Like, Nedry went from being this just, like, arrogant jerk, hacker, computer IT guy, to all of a sudden he's going to, like, put on this caper, which, fantastic acting on his part.
Oh, yeah.
By the way. But then he goes to put on this little caper of his, and he turns into this little meek little, like, oh, I don't, I'm gonna go down to the vending machine and get a soda because I think I could go for a soda. I could go. Does anybody want a soda? You want a soda? You want a soda? I can go get a soda. You. And then it's like, how did that not like flip on anybody's radar to what is this guy up to? This is not like him. He's never offered anything.
I know. And his interaction with Hammond on like their pay, how he's paying him and everything, and it was perfect. And Hammond's like,
great patter.
I will not, Dennis, I will not get into another financial debate with you again. I will not do it. It's like, you can believe that they have been around this conversation, many times
Several
before.
times.
And it's the thing. One of the things I wondered is, where did all the other park staff get off the island before the storm hit?
I would hope so.
I mean, you never see anybody else. I guess just one person in the game coming up, but like, I don't.
It seemed like throughout before chaos takes place, you hear Sam Jackson's character announce several times that they're departing. So it seems like they don't stay on the island overnight. Like they come in and they work and then they leave. Yeah. And there's buses or transport of some sort that's going to take everybody to the docks to get on the boat and head out, which is a long commute, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, you don't even see, when they're taking off in the helicopter, you don't even see land anywhere on the horizon.
Anywhere,
yeah.
So how much work can you get done in the day whenever it takes you like 2 hours to get to your workstation and then like 2 hours to leave it?
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's announcing throughout the whole day, like we're leaving at this time, be at the docks no later than and all this. And then he makes the announcement whenever chaos starts kind of turning its head and they're like, get everybody out of here. And he's like, all right, 5 minutes, everybody, drop what you're doing, head to the docks, which all these scientists are in the middle of like scientific exploration. That's not something that you can necessarily just drop and walk away.
This raptor is hatching.
Just chill.
Tape it back up. We'll leave it until tomorrow.
We'll get to it tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you just never see anybody else, and I
assume they got off. They seemed to be on it. Like and it seemed like nobody was messing around with it. They were like, we got to leave. Okay, we're going. Yeah. There are big dinosaurs on this island. If they say go, I'm going.
Well, like, how would you feel though? Like you leave beforehand. Like your shift's over. Okay, I'm gonna go home. And then you wake up in the morning, you don't have a job to go to.
You hear on the news about this.
Oh.
Well, maybe you don't hear it on the news. I bet they covered it up pretty well.
Well, the guy he was a doctor, and he was working on that Triceratops, and Ellie stays with him. What happened to that guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like he must have got on a bus or something like that and headed out.
I don't know where he went.
Which, that dinosaur, it was cool to see the dinosaur. It's a good-sized dinosaur. Yeah. And then she goes around looking for its droppings and goes, like, shoulder deep in this giant pile of poo, which was like half the size of the dinosaur. Yeah. That did not come out of that dinosaur.
Was this thing, like, leaning its butt up and just, like, like, what was that?
How did that come out of that dinosaur is what I gotta know. That was a lot.
Malcolm said it best. That's a big pile of...
That's a big pile, for sure.
Oh, man. Yeah, so, I don't know. You have anything else to touch on with the movie? Or?
Where did the cups of water come from? Like you got that famous scene.
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
boom,
you see it rippling.
Boom, rippling in the cup of water. Are they rolling around in these Jeeps with these little... Or, no, they're not Jeeps, they're Explorers.
Yeah,
and with little cups of water on the dash the whole time, or did they have like water bottles in the Jeep or the Explorer and then maybe some cups off to the side? I don't know. They seem to come out of nowhere.
Ian had it because he was doing the chaos theory thing on Ellie's hand with the water, but I don't know where it came from. I mean, why do the Jeeps have these huge flashlights and flares in the back?
Yeah.
Like,
and underneath thousands of pamphlets.
Oh, how could Lexi not figure out how to turn that flashlight off? I guess, like, that's one thing. Like, I'm watching that, and part of me is like, okay, it's a scared kid.
Yeah.
Like, I have to think about like, okay, I may not know how to turn this off, but it's a flashlight. You turned it on. You just
Do
flip
the
the
opposite
switch.
to turn it off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Have you ever dealt with a terrified child that's just losing their mind?
Yeah.
They are very difficult to calm down for sure. Yeah. So dealing with a terrified, like whenever Tim's on the electric fence and he knows that like that bell's going off, this fence is coming on, you need to get down now. Trying to talk a child that's scared, because he's scared at this point because he slipped.
Yeah.
Trying to talk a child back into a calm state of mind and into that mode of let's get down is difficult for sure. Any parent knows that.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
which I think again encapsulates really well like kids and how they would react in these situations. It was just well written for that for sure.
Yep, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I think so. That's okay. The buttons in the park whenever they're resetting the switches, it's red or it's green whenever they're off, and then they press it and it goes red to be on. That bugged me. Why is it? It should be why is it opposite?
Yeah.
Why is green off and red on? That might be part of your problem, John. Is that you designed this thing really poorly.
But he spared no expense.
Spared no expense, but designed it poorly. He definitely spared no expense, but except for whenever it came to a good designer.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and again, like this is one of the reasons why I liked Malcolm so much, and really Ellie at that, because like when they're sitting down for dinner, they're talking with Hammond, and really like they've changed their mind, and they're like, should you be doing this? Because,
ethics come into play.
Yeah. And Ellie says, she's like, over by the swimming pool, I see where you have prehistoric plants that are poisonous. You don't have any idea what you're putting out here,
Which comes back with the dinosaur that's sick.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And, the whole thing the writing is so good. Like, there's just little things that are mentioned here that connect here in a different spot of the movie, and it
all ties in.
Yep, it's so good. It's so good.
And then so he was giving him in the beginning, whenever he meets him at the dig site, Hammond, he's talking about how he's giving him like $50,000 a year in contributions. So they got to have other donors to their dig site.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But we never meet them. But I guess they're not building big parks or anything like that.
Yeah.
So then he offers them to pay for
3 years
to fund their full dig for 3 years if they come out. And they're like, well, okay. Do you think they got that check before they got on the plane, or did they have to awkwardly ask him whenever they got back? By the way, you still owe us for those 3 years.
I think they're just happy to be alive.
That's true. That's true.
That is a great line at the end, though, because Grant tells him, after careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park. And Hammond's
I don't blame you.
Me too.
Yes. Well. Oh, all right. I think that puts this is the cap. This is the conclusion of our Blockbuster Summer Rewind. I had a blast with it. Yeah, like what have we covered here? This on this Blockbuster Summer Rewind. Let's see here. 10
movies, I think.
Yeah, 10 movies. Started with Terminator 2. Well, I guess Sandlot. Did Sandlot count? Did we say it started with Sandlot?
I don't think we counted Sandlot because it technically, I say it technically came out not in summer, but then we had a oops with Beverly Hills Cops. So,
so Sandlot didn't count. We started with Terminator 2. That was our official first one. Then we did Twister, which Terminator 2, that's the only sequel we did, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, only sequel. Terminator 2, then we did Twister, then we did Beverly Hills Cop, Independence Day, Beverly Hills Cop, not a summer movie. Again, sorry about that, but it feels like a summer movie.
It does. Feels like a summer movie. Doesn't feel like a Christmas movie that it was.
Does not feel like a Christmas movie. Independence Day, The Mummy, 1999's The Mummy. You got to be specific there because there are other mummies. The Mask with Jim Carrey, which was
rough,
educational.
But it was a blockbuster.
It was a blockbuster and a childhood favorite.
Yes, it was a childhood favorite. Yes.
Mission Impossible, Jaws, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and now Jurassic Park to wrap it up. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, can you guess it? I mean, it's
Jaws?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Jaws is really good. Gosh, and I wouldn't have guessed it was going to be Jurassic Park, but then rewatching it, I was like, this to me, like I was reminded how much like this is a summer blockbuster. Like this is the quintessential summer blockbuster. And
the man that brought us the first summer blockbuster redefined it in 1993 with this movie. Absolutely. I would agree.
It's so good. I love this movie so much. What about you?
Oh man. I could really go all over the place. I'm going to have to go with The Mask. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm logging off right now. I'm done now.
No, that's definitely, that's got a place at the end of the list. I'm not going to say which end of the list, but it's definitely at one end of the list.
I'm glad we watched it. Like I'll say that. I didn't enjoy it, but I'm glad that I didn't enjoy it on a rewatch, but I am glad that we revisited it just
kind of put that to bed.
Sake.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for me, it's between The Mummy and Jurassic Park. That coming back to that one, that was like I think I agree. I think it is Jurassic Park. It's just such like all over, well rounded. It's just a great film from start from the first beat to the last beat. Fantastic film for sure.
It really
is.
That's
definitely my number one.
Yep. Let us know what yours is. We'd love to hear from you. And
absolutely. You can reach out through email. This podcast takes tokens at gmail.com. Comment below. Find us on Instagram. All those fun places. Yeah. And with that, we've reached another checkpoint. Whoa, no, wait. We have not reached another checkpoint. What are we doing next week?
Oh. Yeah.
We're done with the Summer Blockbuster Rewind.
We are done with the Summer Blockbuster Rewind. Yeah, I think we were gonna... Were we gonna go back to a game?
Yeah, I think we currently have slated football. We're gonna talk football next episode.
Okay, that's it. Yes,
and we're gonna leave it at that. I don't know if it's... We haven't decided if... We came into this unprepared. We hadn't picked if we were gonna talk football games or if we were gonna talk...
Yes.
The sport of football, and whenever I say football, we're talking American. NFL football, not as we call it soccer, or as it's called everywhere else, football. We're talking football, not football.
Yes.
American football. Yes. But yeah, next episode and the next couple episodes, we're going to talk football in various ways, and with the new season kicking off of American football, that makes a lot of sense for us, so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Now, bear in mind, this is definitely not going to be a sports podcast, but football is something we grew up with, something that we enjoy, and we do want to touch on a little bit. We hope you all enjoy it too. I think there's a lot of us out there that are into these nostalgic things that do enjoy American football. So we're going to give that a go, and
not 10 episodes.
No.
Maybe 2 or 3. Not a whole lot. Yeah. But so with that, we've reached another checkpoint in this podcast. We got a podcast here. See,
right here.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
But you can help. Share, comment, and subscribe today. Don't get cheap on us now. We need your help. Keep those tokens ready. Until next time.
Thanks, guys. This Podcast Takes Tokens is a Clay Street production. Okay, we are going to answer a question.
That's right.
Cold open question. What was your favorite dinosaur growing up?
That's
Not the
pretty basic.
dinosaur growing up, but
Yeah.
you're
I think it was pretty basic. It was a T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah.
Did you know that, and I didn't know this, so a couple years ago, they had this, it was during COVID, over in Kansas City, they had this drive-through like dinosaur thing that we took the kids to.
Oh, really?
And,
we had one of those.
And, oh, did you have one of those? Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the facts that I found on there was that T-Rexes are only, I think this is right. If there's any like paleontologists out there listening, I'm sure there's a ton of them. I may be getting this wrong, but I think they had said that the T-Rex was only found in North America.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was
interesting.
Wild. I had no idea that it was just,
Yeah, we have a lot of dinosaur stuff out here I'm in Texas, here in North Texas. We have quite a few things. We have just maybe 20 minutes from us, we have something called the Herd Museum, and it's a dinosaur museum, and they've got some statues and facts and figures. I haven't been there in probably close to 10 years, but they have a good amount of dinosaur type stuff there. They do like a Halloween thing there every year. We've also got a bunch of like fossil type stuff. Like there's I can't remember what it's called, Dinosaur Valley or something like that.
Okay.
And you can go out there and you can actually walk. There's like a creek that runs, and it's only like a few inches to maybe a foot deep in certain parts. But there are fossilized footprints from dinosaurs in the bottom. And so as you walk through, you can see these little impressions, like these little footprints throughout it.
Interesting.
It's pretty neat, yeah.
Huh. That is really cool.
You go down to Waco, and there is a woolly mammoth like graveyard, if you will. It's just like a bunch of like different woolly mammoth fossils that they've unearthed, and they've actually left them in the ground and preserved them, and then built a glass platform over them, so you can walk on top of them and look down on them, and it's pretty neat. Yeah. Cool. And then they have some that are up on display and stuff like that too. And then if you go to our Perot Museum, we have, I think, a T-Rex on display. Maybe it was I may be remembering it wrong. It's a full dinosaur skeleton. I can't remember which one it is. If it's a T-Rex or if it's a Bronchiosaurus or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's a T-Rex because they have it on one of their logos is the T-Rex skull. But yeah, we got that and a couple other big dinosaur like fibia bones and stuff like that on display.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of dinosaur stuff down here, and lots of different areas where you can go and like see dig sites and stuff like that. Because I guess the Southwest, there's a lot more dinosaurs and just throughout the desert and stuff like that. Maybe we don't desert land.
I live up around the Kansas City area. We don't have a lot of that. We don't. I think maybe the Kansas City Art Museum, if I remember right, it's been a while since I've been there. They might have some sort of like a fossilized skeleton or something. I don't remember.
Oh, I'm sure you got a few somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. But, I know.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a Museum of Natural History that has something in there. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have it for sure.
But yeah, my favorite was the Velociraptor, and it was because of this movie, because of Jurassic Park. Yeah, I just loved it. And then I was disappointed on that same drive-through dinosaur thing I was telling you about in the city. I found out that actually Velociraptors were like the size of turkeys.
Yeah, they're not that big.
Yeah, not that big. I was like, I was a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, I think they were modeling the Velociraptors in the movie off of something else. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was either.
But yeah, they're feathered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like now, as an adult, the Velociraptor, only the Jurassic Park Velociraptor, the real like turkey ones, not so much. But Jurassic Park Velociraptors, now my favorite one for sure. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, especially like the newer movies they got like with Chris Pratt. It's kind of like the main Velociraptor is called Blue, and he's kind of like a pet.
Oh.
Kind of. He's not tame or anything like that, but there's a bit of a mutual respect. It's kind of neat. They have a bit of a relationship, and that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think that made me a Velociraptor fan. Well, we got a few more comments to go through.
Yeah.
What do you say we talk about some viewer, listener comments over on YouTube? We had some comments come across for the 80s music episode. Will Ford 81, commented for us. Great listen, guy, he says. Great listen, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun with that. And then he says, he goes on, we're going to have several picks in common. Also, personal favorites definitely influenced my list. I couldn't help myself. But he gives us his list of top 5.
Let's hear 'em.
Number 1, Take On Me by Aha. I agree. That's a fantastic 80s song. He says, this song is the sound of the 80s.
Yes.
I agree. Also, best music video in this era of the music videos.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a fantastic
the
music video.
hand-drawn sort
Yes.
of, yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, of the time, that's just fantastic. I mean, still today, that's a great
Still
music
looks
video.
good.
Yeah. Number 2, he throws a Journey in there, Separate Ways. Says, while I totally agree with you that Journey doesn't have that usual 80s sound, listen to this song and the intro and tell me it doesn't belong. I went back and I listened to it 100%. Separate Ways by Journey, yeah, that is an 80s song for sure. And I had kind of forgotten about that one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Number 3, Your Love by The Outfield. Again, I went back and I listened to this one. Yeah, that's a great 80s song for sure. Great 80s Britpop song, he says. I kind of feel wrong listening to these lyrics, but the song hooks me from the opening riff. And yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah.
It does have a good opening riff, good, just, even without the lyrics, just a great, what do you call it, instrumental to it, for sure. Very 80s, yes. Number 4, Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi.
Sure.
Great intro, soaring chorus with an 80s optimism. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. That's pretty good. Pretty solid 80s pick there, I would agree. Number 5, he's on your team. Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
That's right, man. That's right.
This song is pure fun and reflects the carefree vibe of the 80s. Also, Cindy, Better Than Madonna.
Yep.
Honorable mentions, Time After Time, Cyndi Lauper, Every Breath You Take, The Police, and Beat It, Michael Jackson. Every Breath You Take, that's a good 80s song for sure. Yeah,
that's a really good one.
Yeah, great picks there, Will Ford. We definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, we do, man.
That was I agree. Yeah. I think he reopened my eyes to a few that I'd maybe forgotten about there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to the Mask episode, more recent one, we got some back and forth. I feel like that one was, I don't want to say controversial. It definitely it got some attention from some people. It got some good views. Got a lot of likes, some dislikes. I don't know if they're disliking us or if they're disliking the Mask, but whatever.
Yeah.
Attention is attention, right?
That's right.
So we've gotten some comments on that one, and I'm going to try and pronounce it. True King R6, I'm sorry, at True King R6 says, well, YouTube recommended this one to me knowing I love the Mask. And I liked the Majestic. Not many know that one these days, but I can't say it's above the Mask. Bruce Almighty is up there, but nah, oh God, the Grinch. The Grinch might be better than the Mask. Like, they are fighting for number 1 spot in my mind. This was a stream of consciousness comment, which I love. I love a good stream of consciousness comment.
Yes.
The Grinch was good. And I guess of all the Grinches that were done, the Jim Carrey one is my favorite. But in general, I don't enjoy the Grinch.
I don't like the Jim Carrey one. My wife likes it. She really likes it. I prefer the Grinch, the newest one that came out that's like the computer animated one.
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes.
All right.
Harper and I like that one.
Okay. That was decent, but yeah, I must say the Jim Carrey one was for me was favorite. I mean, the prosthetics and the Who's were a little weird looking, but
Yeah, they were.
I mean, seeing it in real life, this is definitely a little jarring, but
Yes.
I enjoyed it. We got one final comment, again, from our number one fan right now, Will Ford 81 on the
Will.
Dragon Warrior episode. Says, I don't remember hearing about this game when I was growing up, born in 81. I assumed 81 based on the name, but I didn't want to make assumptions.
Yeah. He just loves the number 81.
He just loves the number 81. There were 80 other Will Fords. I had to pick 81.
That's right. He's the 81st.
It goes on to say, I don't think I was aware of the Dragon Quest franchise until sometime in the 2000s. I remember seeing the art style with all the weird, always cross-eyed characters, and I avoided the series because of that. Maybe I'll try it again one day. Great episode, guys. Well, thank you.
Thanks,
I would
man.
agree. The art style, the was it chibi art style that they do there?
Yeah.
It's not for me. And it does make the game feel childlike.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely like it made the game, the artwork makes the game seem like something that I would give to my kids and not necessarily want to play myself.
Right.
But knowing that I'm a little more open to them now than I may have been in the past, for sure. But, Will, if you get the chance, check out the first one.
First one's really good, man.
It's great. It's simple. It's short. Like, you're not going to invest a ton of time into it. You could probably knock it out in, I don't know, what do you think, 4, maybe 5 hours of gameplay?
I'd say a little longer than that. It took me a couple days of playing it to get through it. I mean,
I mean, how long were your sessions for?
Yeah. Maybe so. I know, but yeah, I went back after we did the episode and played through the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
and it was like, I remember texting you, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd have finished this game before we did the episode, because it's a
fun play.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one I wasn't as big on, because like you had the extra party members and stuff like that, and I was just like, it was more for me to manage.
Oh yeah.
It was easier just to be able to manage just me, and
I could see that for sure. Yeah.
But they
bring
do
in the
have
party mechanic. It ups it a little bit.
They do have Square is coming out with a remaster of these. It's the HD 2D. If you might have to look it up. If you
Isn't that what they did with the Zelda? What is it, the Game Boy one that they redid on the Switch?
Sort of. No, so it looks pixelated, like a 2-dimensional pixelated thing, like the characters do. But then the backgrounds are like 3D backgrounds, but they're still pixelated, but it's 3-dimensional. It looks almost like have you seen those dioramas people are making?
Yeah.
That of like old 2D classic games. It looks like you're playing like a diorama like that. And
okay, interesting.
They've done several. Well, they've done a couple games. I think like 4 or 5, like the Octopath Traveler games, and there was a couple other that they did in that style. But they're remaking Dragon Quest 1 and 2, maybe 3, as it's going to be coming out in a pack. That's like a 2D, 3D remake that I think I'm going to end up picking up. That'll be fun to play.
I should definitely do the 3 of them together. I think the first 3 go together in story wise, and then it gets all like convoluted and all over the place. But yeah, I mean, that seems like a thing that they shared with the Zelda's franchise, is just not being the storyline, not being linear, if you will. Which, I mean, I don't know how you would do that necessarily without kind of beating a dead horse, for lack of a better term.
Right. Right.
Especially with like the Zelda ones, they seem to like do a little. I mean, it's like they put Link in like cryostasis until the next movie.
Yeah,
the next game.
You'll have to. So they ended up coming out with an official like Hyrule Historia, which I have, and it goes through what the timeline is, and if you're interested, sometime next time you're up, I can let you look at it. But it's kind of interesting to look at and see kind of what that is. But,
all right, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've wrapped up this episode and then some, and the comments and all that fun stuff. This will be a little bit of a longer one. Sorry, folks. But with that, I'm going to let everybody go.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking out this. I'm getting a little closer to my mic. Thanks for sticking out this Blockbuster run with us. We really enjoyed it. So.
Thanks for hanging out. We're looking forward to getting back into games and music and all the fun stuff, and kind of mixing it up every episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll still do movies though.
Yeah.
Got a lot of movies on the list.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, our list is super long, guys. So we're going to be here for a while.
See y'all next week.
All right, I'll see you.